1980 was a year filled with many interesting but varied events. From an upset like no other in the Winter Olympics to an erupting volcano on the other side of the country, the year was full of ups and downs that for some of us are moments in time which we will never forget. For Beatles fans, the year would end with a tragedy like no other, and for the American hostages being held in Iran, hope was on its way. Thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video. If you're watching this, you're probably a fan of history or pop culture, so why not find some similar audiobooks to listen to in your spare time? I just finished one called Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and it's so easy to finish a book while taking a walk or driving. Pretty much any time I have free time alone, I can immerse myself in a good story. This holiday season is a great time to give yourself the gift of an Audible membership. For a limited time, save 60% on your first 3 months of Audible. That's only $5.95 a month. Just visit audible.com/recollectionroad. With Audible, you can listen to more of whatever you're into because Audible has it all. Audiobooks, binge-worthy podcasts, and exclusive originals. As an Audible member, you choose one title per month, which is yours to keep forever. But here's the best part. You also get full access to Audible's streaming library, the Plus catalog, where you can discover your next podcast obsession, check that audiobook off your bucket list, or get lost in a world of original content. No matter where you're going or what you're doing this holiday season, you'll always have just the right thing to listen to at your fingertips. Remember, for a limited time, save 60% on your first 3 months of Audible. That's only $5.95 a month. Give yourself the gift of listening. For more information, go to audible.com/recollectionroad. The year 1980 began with President Jimmy Carter authorizing legislation to bail out the Chrysler Corporation on January 7th. The loan was for $1.5 billion and was intended to save the company from bankruptcy. On February 4th, the famous Studio 54 held an all-night closing party on its last night of business. Celebrities like Diana Ross, Richard Gere, Andy Warhol, and Liza Minnelli were in attendance to celebrate Steve Rubell and Ian Schrager prior to them beginning a 3.5-year prison sentence for tax evasion. The 1980 Winter Olympic Games opened in Lake Placid, New York on February 13th. This was the second time the village had hosted the games, but this would be one that captured the spirit of America like no other. On February 22nd, the underdog U.S. Olympic hockey team defeated the Soviet Union in the medal round in what would be called the Miracle on Ice. The team would go on to win gold after beating Finland 2 days later. On March 10th, Willard Scott became the weatherman for the Today Show. Scott not only did the weather, but he may be best known for wishing happy birthday to fans turning 100, a feature that soared in popularity over the years. On March 12th, a jury found serial killer John Wayne Gacy guilty of murdering 33 people in Chicago. Gacy received a death sentence and would live out his final 14 years on death row before his own execution. On March 21st, one of the biggest cliffhangers of all time happened on the season finale of the TV show Dallas. The phrase, "Who shot JR?" would become a part of American culture after viewers were left not knowing who shot villain J.R. Ewing. On April 24th, the Pennsylvania lottery was rigged by the live drawing host, Nick Perry. Perry also involved 8 other men to help him pull off the scam, which involved weighting all the balls except the 4s and 6s. When the numbers 666 were drawn later that night, the lucky winners just happened to be the ones who purchased every combination possible using the numbers 4 and 6. This set off an investigation, and the men were arrested. On May 3rd, a 13-year-old girl named Carrie Leitner was struck and killed by a drunk driver in Fair Oaks, California. Following her daughter's death, her mother Candy formed the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving. On May 9th, a freighter called the Summit Venture got lost in the fog and slammed into the Sunshine Skyway Bridge that spanned Tampa Bay in Florida. 35 people, including many on a bus, perished as a 1,400-foot section of the bridge collapsed into the bay. On May 18th, Mount St. Helens began to erupt in Washington state after a series of earthquakes. The mountain lost 1,700 feet of elevation from the blast which crumbled the peak, killing 57 people and causing $3 billion in damage to 200 square miles of land around the mountain. On May 23rd, the horror film The Shining was released. The film, directed by Stanley Kubrick, starred Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall and was based on the book by Stephen King. On June 1st, the cable news network, better known as CNN, made its debut. The world's first 24-hour television news network signed on from its headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, with a lead story about the attempted assassination of civil rights leader Vernon Jordan. On June 9th, comedian Richard Pryor poured 151 proof rum on his shirt and then set himself on fire while freebasing cocaine. Although the comic survived, he suffered severe burns on half of his body. On June 20th, the musical comedy movie The Blues Brothers, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, opened in theaters across the country. The film also featured the talents of Aretha Franklin, Cab Calloway, and Ray Charles. On July 15th, Billy Carter, the brother of President Jimmy Carter, registered as a foreign agent of the Libyan government after it was revealed they paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. The incident raised questions about the president and the influence it may have had on U.S. foreign policy. July 19th opened the Summer Olympic Games in Moscow, Russia. Led by the United States, 66 nations boycotted the event because of the Soviet-Afghan war that was ongoing. On August 21st, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, better known as PETA, was founded in a basement in Tacoma Park, Maryland. Ingrid Newkirk and her boyfriend Alex Pacheco were inspired to form the group after reading the book Animal Liberation, published in 1975. On October 28th, President Jimmy Carter and Republican nominee Ronald Reagan debated in Cleveland, Ohio. Reagan's performance had people asking if they were better off than 4 years ago, and it led to a boost in support for the Republican candidate. So on November 4th, the former governor of California, Ronald Reagan, defeated incumbent President Jimmy Carter. The election was a landslide, with Reagan carrying 44 states and winning the popular vote with 51% to Carter's 41%. On November 19th, a Calvin Klein ad featuring 15-year-old Brooke Shields was banned on CBS. The ad showed the model posing in skin-tight jeans, asking the question, "Do you know what comes between me and my Calvins?" Nothing. On December 8th, John Lennon was returning to his apartment at the Dakota in New York City when he was shot and killed by Mark David Chapman at the front entrance. Mark David Chapman remained on scene and read The Catcher in the Rye until the police arrested him. December 11th brought us the mustache-wearing and Ferrari-driving Magnum P.I. starring Tom Selleck. The show premiered on CBS, and with Selleck's charm and acting range, the show became a hit for the network. To close out the year 1980, on December 24th, Americans across the country remembered the hostages held in Iran by lighting candles or shining lights for 417 seconds, 1 second for each day in captivity. With the coming new year and the new administration taking office, the hostages wouldn't have to wait much longer.